welcome to my, I guess, revived podcast. My name is Kay, or KO, and I'm now a 24-year-old living on the west coast of Norway, where I'm from, for once. I didn't do that back in the day when I did this. I don't think I've ever lived where I've come from when I've podcasted. It's been a while. Life is hectic, as it is for most people. I am now a history student and I work, so that takes up a lot of time. But then I also knit a lot, and that's why I am thinking of revamping this podcast thing. I've done it in Norwegian, I've done it in English. I think of trying again in English because my Instagram is mostly Norwegian. It's called KO Strikker. KO Strikker. It's probably going to be down here, even though this is a very not edited podcast. I do not have the brain power to do that at this point in time. But yeah, that's me. I primarily knit. Sometimes I crochet, and very rarely I do cross-stitching. But I'm always open to learn new things. So I was thinking, maybe I should show you some of the things I've been finishing lately and working on lately, and we'll have to see. Maybe I'll talk about some theme that is interesting me at the moment, which I am not sure I will. Who knows? Yeah. Welcome to, I'm not sure what this is going to be called, KO Knits, the Woolfront, I'm not sure. But yeah, welcome. So this is a lot more high energetic than I thought I would have started. I was thinking I would start like very slow and very mindful, very demure, very chill, more like Molly from Homespun House, I think. She's always very calm. I really like to. I've watched a lot of her podcasts lately because she's has very nice voice. It's very calm. It's very everything is very aesthetic and very matching, even though it might not be aesthetic on TikTok. It's very nice and beautiful podcast. She always makes very nice and beautiful things, and I hope I do too, but I'm not in the same way. I don't really do hand-dyed yarns. I primarily do pre-dyed yarns from the factories. But yeah, so we'll see. So let's see if I have any notes. I don't think I really do. Might have some. Yes, they're not many. A very short little list of this. So I am called KO, or that's not really my name. It's they are my initials. So I didn't know what it meant other than my name until I was about 19, and I've been called that for a couple of years. So that was interesting. So if you don't know what that means, I would recommend googling KO and gaming, and then you'll figure that out. But yeah, maybe I should show you some of my finished objects, because they will maybe tell you a bit more about me than me just sitting here. The first one I would like to bring forward to the group is the latest sweater I've made, which is made out of lettlopi, which is an Icelandic DK to Aran worsted weight yarn. It's very, on many people it's very scratchy. I don't think it is that scratchy on me, but that's also because I'm used to this kind of scratchiness. I am, after all, a Norwegian. Yeah. So I hope I might have the creativity and remember to film a little video of me wearing it, because having it like this is obviously not very representative, is it? But yeah, it's made from leftover yarns, and I think it might be a mix. I really like this. part, the ribbing on the sleeves. I'll have a single round of the colours. I think it might be from my mother's leftovers, because she kind of had to stop knitting with Icelandic wools, and especially like Lettlopi and Ullfronten, because they do shed quite a bit, and it kind of irritated her, or her nose, which I can understand, because I also kind of I start sneezing sometimes when I'm working with this, but I'm not allergic to wool. But yeah, so it's just a high neck raglan. I should show you the others. I've started making like a basic jumper that I also kind of like making patterns, but I don't like writing the patterns. I only like coming up with the things I want to knit and then knit them for me. But I always grade them in like 9 sizes or something in my spreadsheet. So I should probably just write them and put them on the internet, because why not? But I just don't. But yeah, I made some that are a bit thicker than this, a bit on bigger needles. I made 2 in Fine Ull, held double. Fine wool, yes. Held double, and Sandnes Fritidsgarn, or like Vams by Roma. They're more like Ullfronten in their thickness, but they are not as, to me, Ullfronten is very compact. Both Vams and Fine Ull is very lofty, very airy, so it makes for good jumpers for people who are warm as well, because that's one of my problems. One of my issues is that I get too hot, so that's also what I wanted to do in Lettlopi. I used, I think, a 4.5mm on this because I wanted it to be a bit looser. I'm going to show you a jumper afterwards that's on 4mm needles, because I want it to be a bit tighter. It doesn't seem to be as lofty of yarn, but the party in this, it is a party in itself, isn't it? But the party is on the inside. Just look at this. This is the inside. It looks so fun, and excuse the ends, they have been woven in of stuff, but they have not been cut off. But the seam at the back, look at it, can you see it? It's so nice. I am considering wearing this inside out because I really like the inside. But yeah, so that's that. I don't know how many grams I use, but I presume about 400 to 500 grams of yarn. So I think I'm gonna weigh it later and start putting it in a spreadsheet or in a notebook or something, so I can keep track of how many grams of yarn and possibly meters, so we can see, because I have not done that in a while, and I used to do that. I used to be quite good about that. Yes. And I have had a full break, an autumn break. We have in Norway, the schools have a full like a vacation, a holiday every year. It's like, for most people I think it's a week. Some people it's not a week, but usually it is a week. Where I live, at least, it's a week. And where I work at a museum, and there's lots of children, and I like children. I just don't like them 50 of them at a time. So I travelled instead to the north of Norway and knitted. So I've made some green socks and some blue socks. I made 2 of that. See, two blue socks. And last but not least, I made mittens. Look at that. So I think we should start with mittens because they are the most exciting. I have not really designed these. These are a modification of a pattern by Erika Norvald Falk. Yes, I think so. She is a Swedish knitwear designer and, well, a knitwear historian really. She recreates a lot of, especially Sami knitting patterns from Sweden, and makes yarn. My English is gone, my vocabulary has just gone, especially knitting, it's just gone. Like a yarn bundle or something with the pattern and some yarn for that pattern. And she has a really great Instagram. I should probably try and link that below if I remember it. But yeah, she has a really great Instagram. And this is based on a pattern that she has released that's called Elsa's kaffebönner, Elsa's coffee beans. So, but I didn't want them exactly like she has made them because I don't find the fit of those. I don't like the fit of those on my hands, but I think a lot of people really, I lost the mitten, prefer those because they are a lot easier to knit than these. These are not hard to knit. I will just warn you, they are not hard to knit, but I think Elsa's, the regular ones by Erika are easier to knit. But yeah, I should try and find that other one. So I made them so that when you hold them together, they kind of meet at the middle. That is one of the modifications. I don't think hers are like that. They might be. I can't remember. But the main difference is in the thumb gusset, because I've made a gusset. In the original pattern, there's no gusset. You cast on, I don't know, but you, at least from about here, after the ribbing, you have the same amount of stitches as you're supposed to have after you've taken off the thumb stitches. And to me, I don't like that. It feels, then it gets to be a bit loose around here, and I don't like that. I want them to be, because they are very thin mittens, they are warm, but they are very thin. So I want them to be very flush against my hand, so they're not very, there's not a lot of room. I will tell you that, there's not a lot of room, but that's very nice when I want to wear other mittens on top, which I sometimes do when it's really cold or if it's very windy, like today. I'm not sure if you can hear the wind, but it's windy here. So then I want to be able to wear a larger pair or a thicker pair or a felted pair on top. And then I don't want these ones to be very loose off my hand. I want them to be somewhat tight fitting. I can still take my thumb out of the thumb and put it in with my hands. That's also one of the reasons why mittens are superior to gloves, because gloves, your fingers are separate. In a mitten, they're all together, and you can even put your thumb with the rest of your fingers, so you will be warmer. So that's one pattern, one thing I've done. I don't think they are much more than 50 grams. They might be, this is about 60 grams. I think they might be around 50 grams. It's made with Hillesvåg, I think Vilja, which is a thin lamb's wool yarn. It's about 175 meters per 50 grams, so about 350 meters per 100 grams. So a bit heavier than like a sock weight, but not a lot. So yeah, like Finul by Roma, which is ideal for making mittens. Because, and you can see like the pattern, I haven't blocked these. I should probably do that before I show you. I have woven in the ends, but I have not blocked them. But yeah, so that's great. The socks are also made by me but these are from my own head, or from like a sock recipe I learned when I was quite young. 1 year I knit over 100 pairs of socks. And that's years back, so we've not had the need to I have not needed to knit a lot of socks lately. But I wanted to start knitting socks again, and especially last year my little brother asked me for socks for Christmas, and he wanted preferably hand knitted ones. So I knitted my dad and my well, the whole family really, socks for Christmas last year. And I thought I should take it up again. So these might end up as a gift for a friend, probably not my brother, because they fit me very nice. And this pair I started to use because I was too cold one day. That's Viking Sportsrag. It's very boring sock yarn, very Norwegian sock yarn. This is not a sock yarn, really. This is, I think it's Hillesvåg Embla. And, well, as you can see, it's like a DK weight. And I think I should show you the heel. I did a heel flap and gusset. I did that on both of them. That's what I prefer when I knit this kind of sock. And these are made on 3mm needles. So they're quite compact, but that's really nice. These are more like house socks rather than in your shoes socks, because they're very thick. But I like that, I really like that. But Embla is 100% wool, 100% Norwegian wool in addition. And that is really nice because they're really warm and they will felt a bit, so they will form, they will get the shape of the foot of their wearer, which is really nice. But it doesn't have any nylon, so if you knit socks with 100% wool, you have to be prepared to darn them, and you should, because the environment. But also, since they're 100% wool, the Sportsrag, the blue ones, are not 100% wool. I don't remember the ratio of synthetic to wool, but they are not 100% wool, so they can't be recycled. These could either be worn until they're shreds and be put in the compost, or they can be recycled with wool, but we don't have a good system for that now, so at the minute it's wear them until they're not socks anymore so that you can compost them. That was some finished objects. I think I have some more which I have not woven in my hands on. We're not going to talk about that, are we? So I did show you these. I've also started knitting very thin socks, very the vanilla sock that everyone on knitting YouTube made years ago. These are not the Fish Lips Kiss heel, even though they might look like it. They are an afterthought heel, and a true one of that. That means I've cut into my knitting. I picked up the stitches, I cut a stitch, and then I made a heel. Just Google it, it's nice. It's Drops Fable, which is a sock yarn, so it has, I think, about 20% nylon. No, 25% polyamide, not nylon, and 75% wool. It's a self-striping. What's kind of annoying is that at some point in one of the socks, the yarn had been tied together and it was the opposite way around, so that they could never be alike. But what I also figured was I was very lucky. I only used one skein of this main colour, even though I made the cuffs in it. But I used, this is another Fable in a beigey colour as my heels and toes, and this is how much I have left of the main colour skein. It's about 2 grams or so, 1 or 2 grams, and these are about 60 grams, so I've used about 10 grams of this and then about 50 of that, because I think the skein might have been a bit heavier than, well, it might be, I don't think this is just 1 gram, I think it's 2 grams, but yeah, they are about 60 grams, so that was really nice. I wear a size 39-40 European, so you might be able to get a full pair of socks from 150 gram skein of fun sock yarn and a bit of a plain coloured one, which I would recommend, because since they are plain coloured and afterthought, it's easy to just change out the heel and it won't matter. Or it won't matter that much if you darn them and they have a different colour. I like this spool mending. I have socks that are pink with green darns and blue and yellow and grey and whatever. very nice actually. It reminds me, it makes me think like, oh, I really appreciate these. So that's that. They should also go into the statistics. I should really, shouldn't I? Yeah. But on to the next. I should maybe start with the ongoing things, shouldn't I? But this is sort of ongoing, but sort of not, because it's maybe a long-term project more than a very short-term. But some of my friends, I am in my mid-20s, and some of my friends have started making babies or having children, or you know, that sort of thing. And I made 2 pairs of very cute baby socks. Focus then, please. 2 pairs. This is called Kronelesta, which means crown socks, and is a tradition from where I'm from here, to give these to, especially like for christenings and stuff. But it's because of the pattern that sort of looks like a crown, which is really nice, don't you think? It's very feather and fanny, like a wave pattern, really. I think you could probably find the same pattern on Shetland, if I'm being honest. So this is just made of different sorts of like a baby wool, like fable fennel sort of thickness. Baby wool is a term in Norwegian knitting, because there are yarns that are baby wool, usually merino or very soft wool and superwash, so it's easy to wash. But yeah, baby wool, and a certain thickness, you know what you're gonna get if you buy something called baby wool, which I presume you would other places. But that is really funny, isn't it? Because we don't have like DK 4-ply like other like English speaking countries have, more like that, and that would be on the label, on the yarn. But baby wool, that we've kept with that, baby wool. But yeah, I need to fasten those ends. It's not very long until I am seeing some of the friends who are having a little child very soon, which we're really looking forward to. So I have to finish these up and block. I'm not going to block them, am I? Take pictures of them so I can show you properly once before I give them away, I think. But yeah, so that's a traditional pattern, which luckily a local lady she has talked to some older ladies in the area, and she's written down the pattern, so I don't have to recreate it. Lucky me, I like that. And then I sort of got a bit of a hang up on something called mini salbu, which is a pattern by I don't remember, Tina. And I made 2 pairs of mini salbu, which have no thumb, because they're for babies, and like very small babies, they don't need a thumb, and I would not be knitting a thumb for them because that's too fiddly for me. I cannot be bothered. But then I wanted to make my own, so I drew this, which fits in the chart with this one. It's the same size, so I could use that. I used the same base pattern, but yeah, I made these, and these also no ends are woven in. I will at some point. But look at this little stack, how cute aren't they? So those as well are probably going to some happy parents, I hope, in the near future. And they also work really well as keychains. I've given them away as keychains, as with a bit smaller versions of the socks as well. I made very small socks and given them made keychains out of them. I would recommend that. We don't have much time left on the memory card, so I'll just get to my ongoing projects. One of them, the yarn did not want to follow me, is another pair of socks, this time stripy. Kind of like the Let Lopey jumper, but not quite. I am on the second sock and I'm doing the opposite. So this one's going to have yellow cuff, heel and toe, and then this one has green. So I don't know, left and right sock or something. It was just because I was bored when I was casting on the second one. So that looks yellow, but you can see how different. This looks a lot lighter than this sock. This looks like a very dark sock. This is a very light one because of the colour. Again, I believe this might be Per Gynt or Hillesburg Ambler. Both great yarns, 100% wool. I'm ready to darn socks. I don't mind. I'll tell you more about it when I'm finished with them. I'm not gonna finish this much. Just don't worry in the next month or so, because I have now started on a shawl. Is this focusing? Yes. I've started on a shawl and it's in this. I actually have a separate skein with me. This is Huldra by Hillesvåg or Hyfa, and it's not a Norwegian wool. It's I think it's British wool, but I'm not completely certain. It's in the colour 8099, I think. So it's not completely bleached, but nearly bleached white, which I really like. And I know a lot of people use this knitting on machines, but I don't know how to knit on machines yet. But this is 425 meters on 100 grams, so it's a bit. I don't think it's a lot thinner than. That was my notebook. It's not really thinner than Fable, but I think it's probably because of the lack of synthetic materials, and also its kind of loftiness that makes it, you know, stretch further. The same amount of grams. So it looks very nice in the skein form? Hank form? Hank, isn't it? That was called. But yeah, so again, I've just made up this, which is, trust me, I have not made this up from completely scratch. I have probably seen this somewhere. But again, it looks really nice. This is, what I'm showing you now is the back side, but I think that also looks kind of pretty. And I was surprised how open the lace was already, because I have not blocked anything. Well, except the Lopi jumper, I washed that. I did wash that. But yeah, and just, it looks so nice. What's kind of annoying for me is that I have figured out that I need at least 20 of the diamonds from here, from the middle, and straight out. I need at least 20 in that sort of line to be, before I can start the edging. I have 3 hanks. Or I now have, I don't know, 40 grams, odd grams of left of the first hank. Maybe 40? Is it so much? I don't know. I think I've used some of the first hank anyways. Maybe I only had 2.5. I don't know. But so that's also an ongoing project. I really wanted this shawl to wear with my bunad. That was a bit larger. With one of my main bunads, I don't have a shawl. So that needed a shawl, sort of. And with the other one that I am borrowing from my grandmother, there is a shawl. It's a wool shawl, but it's embroidered and it's not very large, so it doesn't really help with keeping me hot, if you know what I mean. So I wanted to knit a shawl, and it's surprisingly warm for being so thin. It's very light, very airy. I'm knitting this on a 3mm needle, and I'm quite happy about that. I was worried it was going to be too see-through, but I like it. I really like the airiness. It feels, but I think it would have been too loose if I were to knit it on a 3.5mm, because you can see my hand through there. But that's, you know, part of the point. It's lace, you know. I don't think I want to have loose on it. I think that would have been a bit much. Yeah, so that's my main project at the minute. And then my last, well, second to last, I have one more. I'm going to show you the other one first. Oh, sorry. Is I'm just gonna take away some dust. I'm making another jumper based pretty much on the same model as the Let Lopey one, but this is this actually has short rows. The Let Lopey one doesn't, because I could not be bothered with the stripes. But this is a jumper which is dark green, as you can see, in Svensk by Järbo, which is a Swedish yarn manufacturer, and it's 180 meters per 100 grams, which is less than the Let Lopey, but again, it's not as lofty. So I'm working on this. It has got a half a sleeve, and then I'm starting on the second one because I wasn't sure if I wanted. The Let Lopey has very like balloony sleeve. I'm not sure I want that balloony of a sleeve. I'm not sure. So we'll see. And I don't think this is going to be high neck. I think this one will have more like this. It's pretty much, this is a bought merino jumper from a very main like high street shop in Norway. But yeah, it's just a very easy raglan, slightly varied in the colour. But yeah, so I'm also working on this. I love these. It's knit on a 4mm, and as you can see, I love these these kind of thick jumpers. So my last project is this. I have started on another pair of socks. I was really inspired after knitting those socks in Fable, because I knitted pretty much one of them, not really, but one of the legs and the feet, I guess, at the cinema. So I was like, this goes a lot faster than I remembered. So when I finished those, I started on this one, which is very orangey red coloured yarn, which is baby wool. Again, this baby wool Lanette, which is, I'm not sure, I think it exists, it's from Sannes Yarns. A colour that's probably gone out of production, and maybe it's come back, because I bought this like 5 or 6 years ago. It might have come back. I know Petite Knit kind of likes these kind of colours. I'm knitting it on, I don't know, 9-inch circulars, I think they're called. Like, I think that's the length. And it's annoying because it takes me longer than when I knit magic loop, but I couldn't be bothered with knitting them on magic loop, and I didn't have double point needles in 2mm. So when I knit socks in thin yarn like baby wool or Fable, whatever, I cast on 64 stitches for me, and probably 72 for my dad, who has thicker legs. I have thick legs as well, but yeah, 64 stitches is really good for me. And then I knit, if I'm doing an afterthought heel, I knit about 100 or 120 rounds of stockinette stitch, and then I knit the toe, which is about 20 rounds, more or less. If I did 120 rounds before the toe on the Fable ones, so that means I can pretty much just fold it in half and then figure out where the heel is going to be, and I think I might do that with these as well. I needed a pair of red stockings because I want to be a red stocking, you know, if you get that reference. We need that in this world, in this day and age. We need that. But with that pair of socks, I'm on the first one, and the shawl and the jumper's the least involved now, because I'm done with the short row shaping, I'm done with the raglan. I only need to figure out how long it's going to be in the body and the sleeves, and how I'm gonna, or if I'm gonna decrease before the ribbing on the sleeves, and then just knit a neck. I've decided I just wanna like more of a crew neck rather than a high neck, because I have quite a few high neck jumpers now. But yeah, so welcome. I hope I'll stick around, and you too maybe. I'll see you soon.